There's a strange thing that's not included in Mario Kart World, and at least not yet. But especially with a game with a huge open world, I cannot believe that we haven't seen really any speed faster than 150cc, considering the fact that we saw 200cc at the very highest. That was back in Mario Kart 8 that came out 11 years ago. So why in the world would they remove it? And is it technically still in the game, or are they going to have any faster speeds as well? Well, we have to dive into this whole thing, but before we do, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We got over 100 brand new subscribers the other day, but let's see if we can really get a bunch with today's video. If you guys really enjoy Mario Kart World Nintendo content, definitely let me know by saying how many we can get to subscribe from this video alone. Thank you so much, and let's dive into the speeds of Mario Kart World. So one of Mario Kart World's biggest problems were the straightaway intermission tracks for a lot of people, where it was just straight tracks with not a lot going on them. A lot of them were just roadways with a little bit of traffic at that and a couple of enemy spawns, but besides that, there was really no obstacles, and it was just a boring straightaway drive, and Nintendo Treehouse didn't do a whole lot to justify why this is actually a very interesting part of the game. And I'll be honest, I don't think this is going to be as boring as people thought. I've seen a lot of intermission tracks that look really exciting with a lot of things going on, and including a lot of the gameplay that I've seen from the demos of people playing the game right now. But there's a big reason why still a lot of these demo gameplays and what we've seen from the Treehouse look so boring. These characters are going through speed boosted brambles right now, and it still looks like they're not driving that fast because they could only play at 100cc max for the demo, which is just very, very slow. I mean, 50cc is slow, but 100cc is just as slow, especially when you're watching gameplay instead of actually playing it. Something else you'll realize is that everybody that's playing the demo right now can only use the antenna on their bikes, which doesn't allow them to move off the beaten path all that much. So you're not seeing a lot of the players use the obstacles and things that are outside of the straightaway track, because you can drive almost anywhere, as long as if you're staying in the barriers, which still extends far beyond the track, but the game won't let you do that right now in the demo. But back to that speed thing, you're watching straight up 150cc gameplay, which means even with mushrooms and speed boosts, you don't move that fast. And this is the main problem I've seen so far. It almost looks like this game was made to drive faster. There aren't too many super harsh turns or really quick U-turns or, right or left-hand turns. You're pretty much driving straight for a lot of this game, because especially when you're doing the knockout tour, you're driving straight from one track to the next across the entirety of the map. One way to fix this greatly is simply just to allow us to drive faster. Now, of course, we know 150cc is in the game. They've showed it, but we've seen 50, 100, and 150 in the selection screen. We didn't see anything with 200. Now, that doesn't mean that 200cc is not in the game. It very well could be. I mean, they never did explicitly go over the CCs, which they normally do. They show you, what's the main difference by showing a side-by-side between 50 and 150. But they didn't even show that this time. Instead, you just had to take a sneak peek within the Nintendo Treehouse to see the menu real quick before they moved on to the next setting. Now, if you ask me, it looks like with that space down there, they could easily add at least 2 more different speeds. And once again, this is just a demo, and it could just be a demo build where we haven't seen what else they could be hiding. And another thing they could be hiding is the next speed, because 200cc would just make too much sense. Lots of these tracks looks like they were just built to be driving at that speed. If we could drive 200cc through these intermission tracks, that straightaway now becomes a lot more intense. I honestly feel like 200cc works way better for Mario Kart World than it ever did for Mario Kart 8. There's a lot of tracks in Mario Kart 8 that's really complicated to race in 200cc. A lot of those tour tracks, being the city tracks, are also extremely tough in 200cc. So much so where you'll need to constantly use the brake to make sure you stay on the path, or you're going to fly off. And that's why I feel like Mario Kart World would work perfect with this setting, because when you're playing the knockout tour and driving from one location to the next, you'll quickly get there faster than ever, and you'll be driving down these straightaways at high speeds, which will really make you feel like you are on an actual highway instead of driving slowly in the far right slow lane of the highway. You know what I mean? I want to be in the left lane, I want to be driving fast, and I feel like with a lot of these obstacles in these straightaways, it's going to make them a lot harder to dodge and more interesting, making the race overall more intense. There's a couple instances I saw them driving around super busy highways with cars around every turn, and they're doing this in 100cc. Could you imagine if this was 150 150 or even 200, this race would be crazy and even more intense. But besides that, there's now new physics in this game to where if you bump into a car, you don't necessarily just spin out and stop moving. You actually keep your momentum and keep moving forward a bit depending on how you bump into that car. This would allow 200cc to be more playable for a lot of players because most of my friends are fine with 150cc, where 200cc starts getting to levels that's way too difficult for them. But 200 would be perfect for this. If they make a little mistake bumping into a car, they're not out of the race. They're going to keep pressing forward. If they get hit by an item, you're not out of the race either. You're still going to keep moving forward because of that new physics engine. So that way, 200cc just makes way too much sense in a game like Mario Kart World. And maybe I'm losing my mind with this one, I don't know, but what if there was a crazy new option for 300cc, or maybe just 250cc? That would be so crazy. I mean, 200cc is very fast, but like I said, in this game, I feel like 200cc might feel a lot like 150, so maybe the 300cc is more along the lines of 200cc with Mario Kart World. Just because of the long straightaway tracks, it's going to make them feel a lot different, like you're not moving as fast as you were in Mario Kart 8's 200. So yeah, 300cc could be for like the most competitive of the competitive players, but I would love to see some of these tracks played at a speed that high. But what about 500cc? Now, I'm just messing around. No, seriously, that would just be insane. But yeah, I think Nintendo should definitely think about doing this. I just have this weird feeling that Nintendo's doing this thing where they give us like the bare minimum for this Mario Kart game, and then there's just going to be updates later on that does add these things. Because if I'm not mistaken, for base Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, 200cc was something that was added later on as an update. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Some people like these updates, it keeps the game fresh and alive, and some people hate them where lots of the updates are things that should have just been in the game day one, like a speed that has been in the game before it for 11 years. So yeah, I definitely get it, and I understand why people hate updates nowadays, and I think it has ruined gaming into some capacity. But yeah, whether this game gets DLC or updates, I feel like there's a lot of things that they're going to end up adding, and it's a reason to keep people coming back and playing the game for years to come. But that is a video for another time. Yeah, I'm serious. Just think about it. If you go back and watch people's demo gameplay of some of these intermission tracks, you will find them to be somewhat unique. You know, a lot of them have some unique properties to them, some unique enemies or obstacles, and they could be a lot more fun if we were just moving a lot faster. I think 150cc is still going to work out very well, but 200cc and maybe even higher could be really interesting, at least 200cc. But let me know in the comments down below what you think about this. Do you think we need to have 200cc in Mario Kart World, or do we need to have a even faster cc like 250 or 300? Definitely let me know in the comments down below, and thank you so much for tuning in today. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.